Hell yeah.
That's too deep, man.
Yeah, we're that deep.
No way.
Production deconstruction for the song Enlightenment Plans.
Yeah, this came a little later in the game, but it was before the later songs that got added. I think we originally had 7, right? And this was one of them.
A sad 7.
A sad 7. It didn't feel like we really fleshed out the concept totally at that point. And then I think Motel, Fever Dream, and Hark.
Yeah.
I think those were the 3 that...
And Farm to Label.
Oh, true. Yeah, so those were all kind of added later. So maybe Hark was on it. But nonetheless, this was added a little bit later into the game. And the album was sort of... To me, like, this is the in-between of how goofy we can be and, like, the sincerity of Fever Dream. This kind of meets in the middle of both of those things. And, because it has elements of, like, tongue-in-cheek, funny lyrics, but then it's like a softer acoustic song, and it doesn't have too many crazy, quirky elements that a lot of our other songs do, even though there is some stuff that's kind of buried in there that's not conventional.
For sure.
So we'll dig into all that. No drums to start. We start off with a guitar and a toy piano, which I probably had just purchased. This might have been the first recording that this went on. I found it at a thrift store. It's behind us. Can't see it from here, but...
it's on everything. It's like Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah.
We put that shit on everything.
It really started making its way out of a lot of tracks. And this might have been one of the first ones. And I remember... Well, we'll get into the second part. There's a fun thing that happens, but... it starts out with just acoustic and toy piano here. So, the acoustic, we were just talking about this before we started. If you look, so there's a U47 and then 2 U87 tracks, which is pretty bizarre. So the way we did the acoustic guitar on this was we set up the U87 to be like, if this is the mic capsule, you put it on both sides in figure 8. And so this was sideways to me. So it wasn't, the mic capsule wasn't facing me while I was playing the guitar. And the U47 was pointing at the guitar. So this is what they call mid-side. So we were recording this mid-side, and you duplicate the microphone that's in figure 8. You have to have this in figure 8 pattern, which was the U87. And you duplicate this, and then you flip the phase on it, which we have here. So if I were to take this out, and we were to just have the U47, it would sound like this. And then we have the U87 that would be on the left here. But then when you add the phase flipped, it gives it this really cool stereo image that is sort of manufactured. It's not really stereo because there's 2 sources that are happening in mono, but they're not capturing it like left and right. So you're creating a what would be the word? It's a trick. It fools you into thinking it's stereo.
Illusion.
It's an illusion. That's the word I was thinking for. Thank you, Zach. It's an illusory stereo.
Ooh. Whoa.
And there's a few plugins on this. Some EQ, some compression. I'm sidechaining all kinds of things. I don't know what I was doing there. We'll look into that maybe in a minute. But maybe with the vocals or something, I was ducking. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, with the vocals, the guitar was ducking there. Yeah, and then we have this soy piano that comes in. So some warble from the sketch cassette. I love this plugin. Spence is a big fan. Loves putting that on stuff. And that's pretty much it. That's the intro there that you hear. And then some tambourine. Some tambourine made it in there too. It's a good old tambourine. Good old American tambourine. Let's see. And then we're into vocals. So simple arrangement in the beginning.
Dear, gladly has to go.
So pretty.
You can name your price, but I won't.
Soft and whispery vocal, and it's double tracked. At some point, I tried triple tracking this because I was just like, Elliott Smith.
I remember.
But it didn't really need that. The two were fine. It served the purpose. And then there's a lot of cool harmony stuff that Spence and I added. And I don't think there's anything else that comes in the beginning here. Yeah. So I remember going through the production of this. I had the song. I wrote all the lyrics. I had the general structure of it, but I did not know what the overall arrangement was going to be or the tone of it. I didn't know how I wanted it to sound. Was it supposed to be a bigger rock song? Was I not supposed to play this acoustically? And I think when I presented it to you, I was kind of just like, you kind of take over what you think it should sound like. I was too attached to it in my own head, and I couldn't realize the entire vision of the song.
I think we did good.
We did a good job. I really like a lot of the stuff that you added to this, man. It's stuff that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah, I remember the second verse. Well, I mean, we'll get to it. The percussion stuff, the beatbox stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was probably timid through the whole thing. Like, I don't know. This is how I am. I white knuckle everything.
Yeah.
And ultimately, there was one thing I fought you on. There was one thing I fought you on, and it was this.
The harp thing being at a certain volume?
No, it wasn't a certain volume. It was this thing that comes in between the verses.
I wanted this to be cranking.
No, it wasn't that. I think it was something like you wanted it to continue or something like that. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but there was something about it. Maybe it was just volume, but
there was harp arguments.
Yeah. We argued over the harp. And what's on that, by the way? That's a crazy sound. What do we have happening?
This is definitely a direct King Gizzard reference. Bird Song by King Gizzard has like some type of like delay harp atmospheric situation going on. It sounds really different than that, but I remember the initial idea came from hearing something like that.
Miracle Musical too, but I don't know if you knew about them yet.
I did not
Maybe.
know about
No, I think I was definitely hip to Black Rainbows by that point. We'll get into all the vocal stuff in a second. So all of this continues, this acoustic bit, and then it gets into a big, heavy rock section here. Yeah, so let's check out the drums real quick. There's a really cool thing Spence added here at the end. So this is just rock and roll. Drums, bass, guitar. Yeah, nothing too crazy going on there. You played bass on this, Spence. I think I did the electric guitars here, and then Spence added a very cool thing here.
We must have had a lot of low cut on this.
Oh yeah, because I mean the bass was already doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So if we were to take that off, we could hear it actually. So this is what the original. So this is your guitar.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's
Easy.
what pedals? Your Meris pedals.
Yeah.
The
Samaras
Enzo.
Enzo synth pedal.
And also the reverb, I think too, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like that's in there.
Yeah. Definitely a little wet.
You know, I have a video of this too, where you're playing this. You know what you played this on? Do you remember? What guitar?
No.
It was my Fender Squier brown.
Oh.
That guitar.
Nice.
Yeah, that piece of crap guitar I owned.
Wow.
It was like my first real guitar, you know?
I do remember trying a lot.
A lot of what?
We tried a lot of guitars before we landed on that, for sure.
For this part?
No
Yeah,
way.
that's the only reason why we. Yeah. Why else would I be playing that thing?
I think it was because you were here, you lived an hour north still. And I think you ended up here, you just didn't have your guitar with you that day. There's no way we tried a bunch of guitars and
love
landed
that
on the Strat
guitar,
for a
dude.
synth tone? No way.
Hell yeah.
That's too deep, man.
Dude, we're that deep.
No way. No way.
Dude.
We got the ear for the synth tone Strat.
Yeah,
No, it's got to be the Squier.
it's gotta be.
I'll take your word for it.
Thanks, man.
And then the only other electric guitar that shows up is this trem guitar here that Spence also did. Yeah.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Cowboy music. We were in a cowboy music era.
Well, this is before All In, actually.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, I mean,
We were primed by this.
how to appease Joey and have him agree with your idea
Yeah.
is just play some cowboy
James
music.
Bond, cowboy stuff.
Spy, cowboy,
Cowboy.
spacey.
Spacey.
Those are the three main food groups. So if you
pyramid.
if you nail
Some people call me the space cowboy.
nice.
Next segment.
Yeah, and then in the second verse, there's this thing that happens with the toy piano. I remember playing this. I don't know if I did this consciously, but I wanted, or this is at least how I justify it now. I wanted it to sound like somebody hit the lottery. So when the piano enters, it's like when you would pull the old lever slot machines and, you know, the jackpot thing would go off. And so I tried to emulate that here. And then it breaks off. Because I was just imagining, like, the sevens, you know, all lining up and lights going off. And
You had to move your finger fast for that. Just imagine what he can do. Like, if he's, like, trying to annoy you really bad. You know?
yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I used to get yelled
Really
at.
get someone's attention.
Yeah.
I used to get yelled at all the time in high school because I'd be tapping on the desk,
yeah.
man. So that's where I developed that skill.
Well, it brought us here today.
Yeah, that's how this song got made.
Yeah.
Tapping on the desk in high school.
Yeah.
Um,
Now you hate tapping.
That's true.
Weird. Next segment.
There is a very, very fun vocal thing that happens in the second verse here.
Your friends
Straight up Sweet Charity.
Yeah,
Mr.
Yeah.
Bungle, Sweet
just
Charity.
percussive noises with your mouth.
Yeah, that breathe box.
That breathe box, baby.
Using the breath as a symbol.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it worked out well. I thought it was such a cool way to put percussion in the song, instead of just doing a tambourine or a shaker. That was really cool. Spencer's idea. I would not have thought of that. And maybe I think these are all harmonies here at the end. Yeah, so we'll get into those in a second. There's some cool vocal stacking that begins in the chorus here.
Instagram has given me the keys to understand about
So that's me and
life,
Spence.
love, and the stars above. So take my hand through this magical land. Enlightenment plans start at 50 a month.
Yeah, cool stuff, man. I love the way... Oh, that was weird. Where'd that ding come from?
No idea.
Wow, we're just gifted
Yeah.
with a ding
Yeah.
by the gods.
No
The Rachel gods.
idea, dude. Definitely not. Nothing over here.
So anyway,
Next
segment. We get into the big part here. So there's a big vocal stack that happens, second verse, and some more harmonies that enter.
How are you? Your worth is in conversion, so get back to work. A wise and bearded man on Instagram has given me the keys to understand about life, love, and the stars above. So take my hand through this magical land. Enlightenment plans are now half off.
It's kind of a weird chord that happens there at the end.
That's a
Enlightenment plans are now.
Ooh, that kind of rubs weird, but it doesn't bother me in the whole mix of the song. Yeah, really cool harmony stuff by Spence. He always says that if he was born just a few years earlier, he would have really made it as a pop punk singer, and I agree.
That's right.
I agree, man. I think you could have done it.
I think I could have, dude.
Giving me the keys to understand
It's there. If you really...
Yeah.
love and the stars above. So take my hand through this magical land. Enlightenment plans are now half off.
Yeah. Really cool backups. And then I do end up... I triple stack myself. The old Dave Grohl effect.
Triple cheeseburger.
And that's pretty much it. And then, yeah, we have Spencer's little Lifes and Loves.
Love,
Ooh, cool delay, though.
Yeah.
life,
And modulation. What's that?
Yeah, what do we have on that?
Weird.
So there is, I'm bussing it to just an H delay. And that's giving it the eighth note feel.
That's so chorusy, though.
And then maybe, so through this, there's maybe just a little bit of modulation that's happening.
So weird.
But it's also just the stack of them. So that'll create that too.
Oh, right.
There's a lot of them here.
Yeah.
So,
Some phasing.
yeah, I guess I had to bump these up to fit through, into the mix. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole tune. There's not a ton of spinning gears, but it all comes together at the end in a big way. And it was really the only... I was going to say it's the only acoustic thing on the album, but no, Elon Musk, for a good chunk of it, has acoustic guitar. So those are the... And then they both have big endings. We have a formula.
I can't tell if we should be more acoustic or more electric. And that's why we're both.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
We don't have to pick one.
Like, I'm like, should we do more songs like Fever Dream or more songs like Bottle Tops?
And the answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Good night.